95 south through Howard County. You've got some extra backing off and on, leaving 895 Elkridge.
Traveling towards
198 southbound on the Harrisburg. As you join 695, watch for an incident on the left side. You're just busy and slow through Timonium. Not that big of a deal. On the JFX, southbound, there's company at Cold Spring. That about the extent of it. On the outer loop, expect a delay up top, Bel Air. Traveling over towards Lock Haven on the west side. You're jammed at 70. The inner loop starts to slow, heading to Greenspring. Liz Dravick, WBAL News Radio 1090 and FM 101.5.
WBAL TV 11 weather. All right, another hot one. Maybe not as hot as yesterday, though. WBAL TV 11 meteorologist Ava Marie is here with the forecast.
Oh, we're just in this for a few more days. Highs close to 90 for today, tomorrow, and even Thursday. And it feels like it's near 100 because of the high humidity. And this afternoon, a few isolated storms are possible. Not everyone will see a storm, but certainly keep an eye on the sky if you plan to be out so you can check the radar to see where the storms are going. Tonight will drop down to the low to mid-70s, and a few more scattered storms pop up in the next few afternoons. But then a cold front arrives end of the week. It should clear sometime Friday, so eventually we'll see the rain clear out. But behind it, a big drop in temperatures. We're actually only near 80 for the highs this weekend.
All right now we're in the 70s all over town. We're going to get up to that 91 mark, but the heat index will make it feel like it's almost 100. If you're considering buying a vehicle, stop by Jones. It's only 15 minutes from White Marsh Mall. Check them out online at jonesjunction.com. 736 on WBAL News Radio 1090 and FM 101.5. Right, even with you on this Tuesday morning, and we're joined now by Euripsy Morgan, host of the Euripsy Morgan Show 1 to 3, weekday afternoons here on WBAL. I'm somewhat conflicted about this spy plane story. I don't like cameras all over the place, you know, red light cameras and speed cameras and things like that. But we are at a crisis right now, and it's free. And, you know, the owner says this thing could possibly reduce the murder rate by 20 to 30%, which is significant. You know, at the most, that's 100 lives a year. So where are you on this decision by the police commissioner to say thanks but no thanks for the spy plane?
Well, I am not conflicted, and I'll tell you that I don't think this is a good idea at all. The spy plane sounds like a great idea, and I actually had an opportunity to speak with Ross McNutt, who is the I guess the creator or the owner of this spy plane last year. And the truth is there are some serious Fourth Amendment issues. And this is one of those things, Brian, that when we get so desperate, right, to solve crime, to deal with the violence and the murder in the city, that we're almost willing to do anything, even give up Fourth Amendment protections, potential Fourth Amendment protections. And the Supreme Court, you know, in a case, I believe it was last summer, actually talked about the collection of data, the mass collection of data that I think would apply in a case like this if you don't have a warrant in order to collect the mass data. And people say that, oh, well, but we could solve murders. Yes, but you're also collecting the data, the whereabouts, the basic pinpoints of not just bad guys, but everyone. And I know the argument is, well, I'm not doing anything bad. That's not the point. The point is that you're giving up privacy, and you are allowing the government to have that without any stoppage point, without any. And at what point do we say, wait a second, now I want you to stop?
Right.
Well, you don't get to backtrack like that.
Well, the argument is that, look, it's not necessarily the government that is flying this plane. It is a private company that they would still need to get warrants. And we already have cameras all over the place in the city. We have, you know, city cameras on different blocks, depending on what neighborhood you're in. We have red light cameras. We have cameras that private businesses have. We have individual citizens who have doorbell cameras. The cameras are everywhere. So why is this any different?
Well, because this is not a camera that only... So let's take, for example, the cameras that are all over the city, right? Each one of those cameras is only going to take a snapshot of where you were. Say you walk past Dunkin' Donuts by the courthouse. It's only going to take a snapshot there. It's not one camera that is taking an aggregate of everything. It is small snapshots that are being taken while you are walking from place to place. So imagine what it would take to collect, say, Brian, where has Brian been all day long, right? Imagine the work that would have to go into to get that kind of data, as opposed to with this spy plane. What would they have to do? Just look at the data on the spy plane.
Yeah, but to pinpoint me specifically would be kind of difficult, wouldn't it? Unless you were really looking for me specifically. I think that's That's where the argument is that when a crime has been committed, then we would use this to try and find out the person who was responsible for said crime.
Right, and I get that. It's just that the data would already be there, regardless of whether you committed the crime or not.
Yeah.
The data is already collected. Imagine what could be done with that data. I mean, we think that it's going to stop here. I read an article last year how this data could be used. Say, for example, Baltimore, which is also known as being having the worst drivers, right? Imagine a situation in which that data wasn't just used for criminals, but, hey, you got into a fender bender. Whose fault was it really? And imagine how much insurance companies would pay for that kind of data.
Right.
I mean, you think it's going to stop at crime? It's not.
We have instant replay on everything. We would go back and see if the flag was warranted. All right, so obviously you're against the spy plane, but we do have a crime problem in Baltimore. I know you've been talking about the consent decree, and look, they decided in New York to fire the police officer involved in Eric Garner's death. In California now, police officers are going to be required to use lethal force only as a necessary response to a threat, not merely as a reasonable one. So what do you think about the state of policing right now, not only in Baltimore, but in the country?
Oh, good
Let's
luck,
move on to 10-10.
The strangers that happen to be African American. First of all, you got a German Shepherd. I mean, I don't care if you're white, black, yellow, green. If that German Shepherd is not familiar,
gonna be talking about it. 1090 just talked about it for about 36 or 5 minutes.
With guests in the house. I mean,
they moved on to another time.
That's something. I can only imagine what it must be.
So, when 1010 come on, and
okay, John.
Larry, I always thought that
I come back on.
were colorblind. That's what I always thought. But